Hello everybody, welcome to Walking with J.Beau. I'm walking today with a pretty nasty pinched nerve in my neck. But it doesn't affect my walking other than looking around to look at things. Just putting my head downward like this to look at the ground is very painful. But that will subside eventually after my neck joint calms down. Anyways, welcome to Walking with J.Beau. It's about 72 degrees today, 70 degrees, very dry Canadian air. It feels like walking in an air-conditioned house today. So it's nice. So my GSG 1911 and 22 is acting up again. So the story is with that, I replaced the mainspring, which is the spring that launches the tension on the hammer, and replaced that with a new spring. Used it 1 week and it was running fine, and then I was running into some mishaps again, and I verified that it was not the ammo by shooting it in other semi-automatics. So the face of the firing pin is wider than what it should be, so it's not impacting as deeply into the rim when it impacts it, because it's hitting it hard enough. You can clearly see that. So that is a known problem with these, and I think over time the front of the firing pin kind of like flattened out, kind of like when you use a hammer repeatedly on steel. The end of the hammer will flatten out. So I'm going to take it out of the gun again, and I'm going to carefully use a file to sharpen the end of the firing pin to more of a narrow front flat space rather than a wide flat space. And I'm not going to take any of the length of the firing pin off. And this is a known issue with this firearm, with people that own them. And again, I will reiterate, if you want to avoid all of this and you want a 1911 that's a 22, then look into the Walther Colt. The Walther Colt, you can get one for $300, which is only about $20 to $30 more than the GSG. And instead of having an aluminum slide, it has a steel slide. It's a much better pistol. We haven't been able to run anything in it that it won't run, even the weak bulk ammo garbage. It's an all-around excellent pistol. And to be quite honest with you, I'm getting frustrated with the GSG. Not only in the fact of what it's doing now, which is fixable, but the point is I have to go and fix it. And the other problem is the slide is aluminum. And stuff like where the bolt stop is, slide lock is, I mean, it's aluminum. It's soft. You know, it's an alloy, but it's still aluminum. And it does have a propensity to wear. The slide will get loose on the frame from friction as well, even if lubed properly. So it's a cool pistol for the money, but I think I have just about run out of patience with that pistol. It's time for something else. I'm gonna get this running properly, but because I know what's causing it, and it is fixable. It's just annoying. It's not the best build quality or design, let's just put it that way. This is the one with the firing pin design. It has a weak spot in it, and if you should dry fire it, there's a pretty good chance that eventually the firing pin is going to shatter. So but I am going to fix this problem. It's definitely a fixable issue. Ooh, that's a good breeze. That's an honest breeze. It's like an older dog walking in front of us. He's kind of swinging his back legs around. Looks like he's getting old. Or she. He or she. Let's see where this guy's going. Oh, my neck is all squirrely, guys. I'm not enjoying this. I gotta get my walk in though. Oh, that figures. Thanks. Thank you. So with that, we'll walk up this way like we do on this fall feeling day. Definitely feels like fall today. Alright, that's good. We got rid of them. Boy, don't that breeze feel nice. I don't know how talky I will be today. I got a stiff neck. Certainly doesn't affect my mouth, but you know, like just walking like I am now, having to look down at the ground so I don't step in a hole. You don't really appreciate things on your body till they don't work right. We will endeavor to persevere. Try my best not to get hit by a car. Scoot off on the side street up ahead. Probably walk a little slower, take it a little more easy today till my neck feels good again. So it's really funny watching things blow up in Democrats' faces. Not literally, I'm not talking about explosives, I'm talking about rhetoric, propaganda that they spew. It's nice when it blows back in their face. The latest one is the Gold Star families sticking up for Trump, and this media created Arlington controversy, or as they say in England, controversy. This controversy, but they're saying Trump was violating sacred ground, exploiting the deaths of soldiers for politics, and illegally recording on film, blah blah blah. And then the families now have spoken, and they have pretty much systematically killed that story in its tracks by saying they invited Trump, they're glad he came, he wasn't there exploiting dead people. Our people are dead because of Biden and Harris's incompetence. That was their statement. And that seemed to have shut a lot of people up. And coincidentally, Kamala is dipping down in the polls. I watched two leading experts last night. One said they have seen internal data that's not made public. And they said on this trend, Kamala should be right about where Biden was before the debate by mid-September, whether she does good at the debate or not, is what he said. And that's because people have a low opinion of her to begin with. And they just came off the DNC convention, and she got no bump whatsoever from that. And they did exactly like I said they would, and many other people have said, and you probably said yourself, that the media is going to fabricate this big bump she got like she was the greatest thing since whatever. And that just didn't happen. It's not going to happen. In fact, the more people are researching her, the more she's dipping in the polls. And then now you got this Arlington Gold Star Families scandal, which, unfortunately for Kamala, her campaign jumped on that in 2 seconds to really propagandize it. And now they look like fools, because they are. And they're not making veterans happy, which is good. Veterans like Trump. So that wasn't a wise move by her campaign. And so we'll stick with it, folks. And this is part of what I was talking about a couple months ago, where we are just going to let Kamala be Kamala, and she will self-implode, because they can't help it. So the more self-inflicted wounds, the better for the Democrats. I'm all for that. Crazy days we're living in, bro. Take a quote from Full Metal Jacket, an excellent Stanley Kubrick film. Instead of going up that hill there, we're going to take the longer route today, because it's so nice. It is very nice today, actually. Got some joggers coming up the street. I'll get in the breakdown lane, I'll give them some room.
Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah, the game was so
funny. Hey, how you doing?
Gotta go.
And some fine young men keeping in shape. Truth is, they should be doing that when they're 35 to 55, not when they're that age. You don't need to keep in shape when you're 20 years old. Well, you do, but pretty much all you got to do is eat right. Looks interesting. Santa Claus. Hey, how you doing? Well, we found out where Santa Claus lives. Aren't you happy? That guy would make an awesome Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. Excuse me. So that just reminded me, a couple of people that I know on Facebook, and I rarely ever go on Facebook. One of their kids in school did the COVID test, and the kid has COVID. The kid's temperature was 103.9, he said. So it looks like COVID's making its rounds in Maine. Another person had COVID. I've been reading about people getting COVID in Maine lately. So I hope nobody in Maine gets COVID, including me. Had it twice already. I'm all set with that. I just don't want a cold. I hate colds. I detest colds. And alright, this is no joke. I'm not kidding. Since 2011, where I had a stomach virus in 2011, that was the last time I vomited. I was very sick with that. Ended up in the emergency room, dehydrated, needing an IV and some stuff, Porplapor, I believe it was called, injected into my rear end, which stopped me from vomiting instantly. What a relief that was. And I was severely dehydrated, so they gave me an IV. I was on the verge of passing out on the way to the hospital, actually. I don't even know how I drove there without passing out. But I did. And it was not enjoyable. I don't recommend getting that kind of sick. I was vomiting blood. The stomach virus was causing inflammation on the lining of my stomach and small intestines. And so I had blood coming out of both ends. Pretty nasty. But they took a sample of it and they said it was just a stomach virus picked up on contact from touching something that somebody else touched. Now, typically when I go shopping and I come home, I have a bottle of rubbing alcohol in it or hand sanitizer, and out of habit when I get home I spray my hands after I put the food away, but that does absolutely nothing to prevent accidentally touching your face while you're shopping. And there's some pretty disgusting people out there that touch everything and then put it back and go buy a package of meat. Somebody picks it up to look at it and squeeze it or whatever the hell they're going to do. They do that with vegetables, and then you end up getting sick as a consequence. So with that, COVID's floating around, and I don't want to get that again. Just like I don't want to get any other cold. So anyway, that was the last time I was really sick. And I've literally had 3 colds since 2011. That's it. I rarely ever get sick with anything. I don't know if it's just a good immune system or I don't know what it is, but that's the truth. One was a cold before COVID, kind of a head cold, and the other 2 times was COVID. So I don't know how that stuff affects you personally, but if you catch colds easy or they're unusually bad when you get them and you're afraid of COVID, which a lot of people should be, but most people shouldn't be, take precautions, I guess, whatever you feel those should be. Not up to me to criticize. But anyway, is what it is. You're gonna get something eventually anyways, I guess is my point. Regardless. Or as many people say, incorrectly, irregardless. It's technically not a word, but people use it, and some dictionaries actually reference it as being okay to use, but not the proper English. Kind of like ain't. For years, ain't was never a word because it doesn't break down to anything. Apostrophe T with an N means not. And when you say AI not, technically ain't would be you're not using AI technology. If you get what my meaning by the spelling. So technically it should not be used. There's also another word I noticed that is not in the English dictionary that should be. And it's kind of a relatively new term, which I'm assuming is going to be added in the dictionary and spell check eventually, is the word detransition. So when you get somebody that transitioned from a boy into the appearance of a girl, and then they change their mind and realize they grew out of it and it was silly, they do what you call detransition. They are detransitioners. That word is not in spell check, it's not in the dictionary, and it should be. I'm assuming it's going to be eventually. But they're going to do it begrudgingly because somebody that's detransitioning is saying that the cult is wrong and you shouldn't transition in the first place. And because that's what they promote, you're not going to see that in the dictionary or corrected or changed anytime soon. They will eventually, when the fad wears off and hundreds of thousands of kids have been ruined. Basically what they're doing is conversion therapy on gays. Just leave the kids alone. Let the gay kids grow up to be gay adults. Stop messing with stuff, you know? For a political agenda that is clearly neo-Marxist gender ideologies. So, somebody wants to live their own life and be what they want to be, that's fine, but you know, do it as an adult. Stop indoctrinating these kids. Leave the damn kids alone. So there, I've said it. Anyways, we're walking on here. It is a really nice day today. You know what I should do is, I have my camera where I usually put it, but I should stop and check it to make sure that it's not pointing in outer space. I fixed it. So we're gonna go up this way. And this is one of those times where I have to use the restroom. And it's the daytime, I don't have anywhere to go. So I need to not think about it. But we did have a side street that was being worked on that had a porta potty. And I'm gonna see if that is available. Which I hope it is. And these are the things you need to think about when walking. What happened was today is I ate my dinner a little bit later because I was distracted by something. And then you have liquids when you eat something. And then liquids do what liquids do. Now I gotta find a place to dispense some of the liquids. So my neck is messed up and I'm walking with my head up straight when I usually like to look down a little bit. So I hope that dog's not coming to chew me up, because I'm not in the mood. Got another jogger today. Joggers everywheres. So we're gonna head down to the right, and we'll be walking by that part. Get in the bicycle lane. Oh, look at this, free. It's a free hobby horse. We actually used to have one of these when we were kids. I just remembered it. That's pretty cool. It's free. Probably bought it and the kid doesn't use it. Looks like there's nothing wrong with it. But it is free. And what's really cool about stuff like that is I just remembered that my little brother and I used to have one of those, and we used to be dressed up in matching cowboy outfits with cap pistols. Most embarrassing photographs ever. But you know us with the pistolas, we like the pistolas. We gave up the cap ones for real ones. Went with the BB guns for a while. And graduated to the real ones. So I apologize for taking longer to get where I'm going today. Well, we'll see if I walk down that road for nothing. Well, there's no such thing as walking for nothing. But I need to go. I need to go, dadgumma. I looked both ways before crossing and my neck was like, no, 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 don't do that. Nope, nope. Nope, nope, nope. Don't do it. If the porta potty is closed, I'm not going to be happy. That's one of those things where I didn't want to wait 20 minutes to a half hour to use the restroom again before leaving the house, because it's getting dark earlier and it was already 4 o'clock, and I need at least an hour and a half to 2 hours for my walk. And I guess I could have waited. It would not have been dark yet. But walking's walking. And the damn thing might not be there. So that's the other possibility. I'm hoping for the best. Excuse me. The worst case scenario, and the worst thing that could happen, is coming across one of those and they have it locked because it's Labor Day and they're not working. I'm going to find out up ahead here. People with deer on their lawn. I hope they don't attack. I hope the attacked deer have not been programmed to attack. There it is right there. My savior, an outdoor porta potty. Please don't be locked. Please don't be locked. Please don't be locked. All right. Now I could just go this way, but we're going to be walking from up that way, and that's cutting into my walk, so I'm not going to cheat. I'm going to go back up to where I came from, a little bit further up the street. So the little restroom porta potty was unlocked, so I'm much better off now. But see, I wouldn't have known that was there if I had not ventured off and explored this neighborhood. Gotta always keep your options open. Sometimes you just need a hole to do your business. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, we'll finish off our walk now. We'll be coming up on 3 miles. I think, if I calculated that properly. We'll be at 2.5 miles in a couple minutes, probably at the end of the street. So definitely should get at least 5 miles in today. There's another potty right here. I'm going to make a mental note and see if this one's left unlocked too. That is unlocked. That's unlocked. So somebody's having some work done here. Got a A life flight helicopter up there. I mean, somebody's having a bad day, typically. Only the people injured the most and the worst get teleported like that. Usually because it's an emergency. Anyway, it did turn out to be another beautiful day today. It's been really nice. We had one partial day of rain, and it's been nice. Now, the way it's been this year, that should mean that people's water bill, with regard to the rain runoff tax, should be lower. And somehow I get a feeling it's not going to be, because I think that's a scam to begin with. It's just you have your regular water and sewer bill, and then they tack on a rain runoff tax, which is calculated from the amount of water that they calculate as rain runoff off people's roofs into the sewer. It's extra water treatment they have to do, so we have to pay for that. For most residential places, it's not very much, but for business owners, it's a big deal. They get hit with the most tax. Small business. Middle class, the ones that Democrats say they don't mess up and they don't screw their lives up, they're all for the middle class, and they're the ones that get taxed. We're the ones that get taxed, damn it. So you know, it's like this ridiculous Biden thing. People earning $400,000 or more will have their taxes go up. Well, a lot of small businesses, $400,000 is and up is what they make. Then you have their taxes and things like that. They're not making $400,000 a year, okay? And the price of a dollar is not as good as it was. With inflation, cost of everything to operate a business. So they're basically screwing the middle class, and it's shameful. Hopefully small business owners aren't going to fall for this BS and they're just going to vote Trump, because, you know, the Trump tax cuts, by the way, are set to expire at the end of this year. That means next year you're going to be in the previous overtaxed tax bracket for small business. The Democrats were saying that these tax cuts were for the rich. They're not. If you're middle class and you own a small engine repair shop in your neighborhood, you're not by any means rich. And you're the one that's going to get taxed. So hopefully people have wised up to that nonsense. They've caught on to the scheme. I sincerely hope so. Big corporations have made big profits. That's who they should go after. They should not go after people that make $400,000 or more. You're not even rich today if you have $1 million in assets. So that's just a fact, you know. You know, when we were kids, oh my God, you're a millionaire. Oh, yeah, well, you could buy a loaf of bread for 30 cents then, or 20 cents. You know, 50 cents for a bottle of Coke. You know, you could get, what was that, Pepsi Boss? Remember the Pepsi Boss 2 liters? It was like $1. Now it's like freaking $4, $3, whatever. Anyways, we're gonna keep walking, keep on walking. So like I was saying, it's always nice when this stuff comes back, blows back in the face of just kicking a bolt out of the road so somebody don't run it over and puncture their tire. But anyways, always a good Samaritan. Pretty soon it's going to start feeling like Halloween. Pretty soon all these leaves will be turning pretty colors. You'll see it all. My best film footage and photos that I've taken of fall foliage is always the first and second week of October, sometimes into the third. So those are going to be the peak beautiful leaf season. I should be able to get something on video because I'm pretty much going to be walking every day until the snow flies. And well, pending any really horrific storms that blow all the leaves off the trees, which can happen in the fall. I have 3 days of rain with high winds and it ruins the fall foliage, but my point is, walking every day, chances are we'll get some good photos and video regardless. I'd like to do a walk down by the riverside like I've done in the past. Also Thorn Crag Bird Sanctuary, one of our favorite haunts to walk. And of course just walking like this on streets. There's a lot of times, like around the corner here, there's a whole stretch of leaves on the side of the road and you can shuffle your feet through the leaves like when you're 10 years old. So that's always fun. Whew. Just hit 3 miles. I have been really happy lately for all kinds of reasons. A couple of personal reasons I'm not going to mention on here. Even though it is a vlog, it's not a personal vlog. And plus, I'm not one of those kind of people that talk about serious things. You know, like for example, you know, I talked about my mother-in-law, Mona, who passed away. She was 94. Lived a great life. Came here from France. And she lived to see, when she was about 10 years old, actual real Nazis in France causing people to disappear. Very nasty. Her family fled, ended up in the United States. Probably not the easiest journey. And so anyway, that's, you know, what happened in World War II was not really that long ago. And technically neither was the Civil War. So, you know, it's we haven't been a country for that long either. 240 something years, 47 I think, somewhere thereabouts. It's you know, you think about that. Mona was 94, and you know, 2.5 of her lifespans we were fighting the British. So it wasn't that long ago. Might seem like it, but compared to other countries on the planet, we're just barely out of infancy. Right now we're a toddler and we're being bad kids. I've been reading a lot of articles lately that really frighten me. If you want to know where the establishment is going, read some of this god-awful media that is terrible, like the New York Times, Washington Post, a whole bunch of news outlets this week. It's almost like they send out a memo, this is what we're pushing this week, and they all just say, okay, we'll do that. And they're talking about how the Constitution is outdated. It actually causes more harm than good. And if the United States doesn't get in line like other countries have and do things about hate speech and misinformation and things, you know, which is what this is all about. Whoever controls the information controls the truth. And so they're making it very clear. They've been threatening Elon Musk. They've been threatening with arresting him if he walks into the EU in Europe. And let me tell you, they'd make a big mistake if they did that. They're trying to intimidate him to start censoring on his platform. Brazil, I'll call him the high priestess in the courts, the high priest of the courts, who likes to dress up like Darth Vader, minus the helmet and lightsaber, is full of corruption. He's a far left socialist extremist. He has locked up many of people in Brazil with lawfare, people that don't have any resources to fight it. And he has threatened to arrest Elon Musk if he ever gets off a plane in Brazil. And they mean it. Because Elon Musk won't censor X in Brazil and has told everybody to get a VPN. Because if you get a VPN, the government isn't going to be able to track you on the internet to find your identity. They'll know you're doing stuff online, but they won't know who you are. So these people are online, but they're not saying who they are. Hopefully they've all made up fictional characters for themselves. And this guy in Brazil is getting very angry because Elon's not cooperating, and VPNs are pretty easy to set up for most people. There's also things like encrypted texting that even law enforcement here has a very difficult time with. If they find somebody specific, eventually they will crack it, but it's not an easy task to accomplish. And so a lot of people in Brazil are opting for things like that. So this is very dangerous times right now for the planet, and unfortunately, literally, I think 80% of the public globally has no freaking clue. They have no friggin' clue. All they have for people saying it is lunatic conspiracy theorists like me who poke around and actually check all this stuff. And I know it might sound kind of crazy, it might sound loony, but did you or did you not experience the pandemic and the global behavior that these countries exhibited to levels we've never seen, where you just shake your head like, I can't even believe they're doing this? And it's like people just shrug that off now, like it was nothing. They actually showed you who they were. So they're still doing it. You have the Kamala campaign, who keeps repeating incredible falsehoods about Trump, and the media won't fact check her. You do your own fact checking, it's debunked in 2 minutes. Oh, Trump said to inject bleach. No, he didn't. It's not what he said. He said they're working on therapies like injecting disinfectants, which can be anything from ultraviolet light to disinfectants that are safe for the body, directly into the lungs, in a controlled medical setting, is what he was saying. Lysol took it upon themselves to issue a social media post that said, under no circumstances should you ingest or drink our product, and it was Lysol. Well, that turned into drinking bleach. These are the same people that they had a big, huge media campaign with horse paste and ivermectin. Even the FDA and CDC banned the use of ivermectin, saying it was dangerous, a dangerous drug, despite being around since the 50s as probably the most harmless drug ever given to people in mass quantities for many different kinds of bacterial and parasitical infections. Now, the CDC has completely reversed that and said that studies have shown that ivermectin does in fact help with COVID. So, you know, these people are disgusting liars, propagandists, and people can no longer rely on anything you hear at all. Just don't even listen to it. I'm telling you, go find out on your own. Take the time to do your own research, read, compare notes. Okay, this outlet says it's horse paste. This outlet says it isn't. It's one of the safest drugs. Then you go look up the actual studies that were done with ivermectin before the pandemic. Okay, before. And you'll see it is a harmless drug. The only way it would be harmful is if you took real huge mega doses, like you would give a horse. The horse paste ivermectin is very potent. You have to dilute it, cut it down, and you can use it, but not without a doctor, consulting a doctor. Okay, that's the legal disclaimer I'm going to put out there. Don't do anything without your doctor. So anyway, ivermectin is effective on COVID. They lied. It was a big lie. And it probably contributed to a lot of people dying for nothing. Literally. That misinformation killed people. So they just want to control what the truth is, and when they get it wrong, they don't want to admit it. And if they would have just let the freedom of information just flow, people like me read about the vaccines, for example, the technology involved when people were talking about it before it was even made available to the public. I had done enough research on it to know what it was. Decided I didn't need it because the people getting COVID were obese, unhealthy, smoked for 50 years, whatever the case is, with heart disease, diabetes, or other problems. Those people can have trouble with COVID. So if those people want to get vaccinated, then go ahead. That's your own personal decision, but I would recommend researching that before doing that and having an honest discussion with your doctor. And unfortunately, a lot of doctors, despite laws being on the books, okay, that disclaimer, that doctors cannot be comped with vacations or plane tickets or free vacations to accept a certain pharmaceutical drug over something else. There's other ways that they cheat. Doctors are not all honest brokers, just like not all lawyers are honest. As an example, just because somebody's a professional doesn't mean they're a good person, as evidenced by the doctor having an affair with his nurse and conspired to kill his wife. So I'm just saying, okay, people have this false sense of security about trusting their doctors, and you should not trust your doctor. You shouldn't trust anybody. Trust but verify. Ask questions. Okay, he says, I want you to take this 3 times a day, and just stop him. Say, what is it? What studies have been done on it? What are the side effects? What sort of people it disagree with and who it doesn't? And don't be afraid to ask questions. You're paying them. You're paying them, okay? A lot of people will bring their car to a mechanic. Maybe it's some place they've never gone before. It's okay to ask questions. And you need to understand, when you bring your car to have it worked on, it's a legal document when you sign the work order. They always have a work order with an estimate. They tell you about it. Do you wish to do this? And then you sign it. When you sign that, that is a legal contract. So that gives the automotive place permission to keep your vehicle if you refuse to pay them for bad work they did. So you need to ask questions. Anyways, whew, should be right about 3.5 miles shortly. But anyway, I have been very happy lately for different reasons. Just leave it at that. Things are going well. And that house right there with that big clump of trees, a couple of those are starting to turn colors. That tree right there turns into a bright fire orange and yellow, red. Tremendous display that looked terrible last year because of all the rain we got. But this year, I think, is going to be one of the best ones. Even if it should start raining a lot. Because the only thing that's going to mess up the foliage this year is windstorms. Which, by my saying it, pretty much is going to guarantee we're going to have one, right? It is hurricane season. While usually when we do get hurricanes up this way in Maine, they usually go right into New Hampshire, which is only about 80 miles from where I am. And a lot of times we will get some high winds, 60, 70 mile an hour, tail end of a hurricane, we call it. I don't really recall being hit directly by a hurricane here. It always seems to miss us just because of our location on the coast and the way the jet stream goes. Usually curls off and heads to Nova Scotia and Canada, like last year. That caused a lot of damage for them. Or it just goes right into New Hampshire as a tropical depression. Just short of a category 1, which basically means 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. Some people might lose power, and if there's tons and tons of rain, there's flooding, especially in New Hampshire, because a lot of New Hampshire is mountainous. hilly, so they get a lot of flooding from saturating rain like that. In Maine, it kind of works its ways to the rivers, and then the rivers overflow. But kind of safety things have been put in over the years from flooding being an issue for quite a while here, especially like in the winter time when you have ice jams that block up the river and the dams. So a lot of times they'll just open the dams up and let the water flow. Open the dam. Damn. And these little orange things. All right, walk up this way. You know, I gotta tell you, I absolutely love this country. Simple little things like people in this country not understanding how valuable free speech is, where other people in the world don't have free speech, even in free countries, because they have no constitution guaranteeing it. And that's why all these articles have been coming out lately disparaging the Constitution, saying it's an outdated document that doesn't work in the modern era. Listen to me. Liberty, justice, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all of those freedoms are timeless. They will work infinitely when you don't have godless heathens trying to turn a free country into a communist one. That's what they're upset about. They want Christ dead again. They want Christ out of everything in society. These people are godless heathens. No scruples, no morals, selfish, and they want to control everybody's pie. They want to take your pie. They don't want just a piece of your pie to operate. They want to take the whole damn thing and dictate what you have for insurance, where you can live, what you can do for work, who you can talk to online, who you can talk to in person. Democrats, absolutely, if they ever got that kind of power, they would do that. And you would have, like the Chinese Communist Party has, where they have intelligence officers mixing out in public, watching people, taking notes, keeping a record. A lot of it is done digitally now, where they don't even have people doing it. Facial recognition. That's in heavy use in China. Keep everybody in line. Social credit score, which basically means is you get arrested for an OUI, operating under the influence, maybe harm somebody, steal, committed crimes. It goes on your social credit score. And then one day you go to buy something and your card that the government gave you to buy stuff with doesn't work anymore. You have been denied because of your social credit score. Then you're not allowed to work where you were working because you're not a good citizen. So now you have to resort to other means that are allowed for people in your credit category. So you go from an office job to a not an office job. And a lot of the homeless people in China, you don't see very many homeless people on the streets because they end up in work camps. You end up as a slave, manufacturing goods for Chinese companies that are owned by the Communist Party. And that's what you're going to get with Democrats. I don't think there's anybody with a straight face that could say they would never do that if they were able to. They talk about locking up Republicans for re-education. You know, you think they're joking, but they're not. They're all a bunch of slime balls. absolutely, and I'm going to say it very sternly, we absolutely cannot allow Marxists like Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the White House as president and vice president. Biden lied to the public because he was a puppet. I'm sure he has absolutely no understanding about most of the stuff going on behind his back, and probably part of him can't understand why he's not liked. And that has to do with his wife, really. And he has cognitive issues for sure. We've all seen it. And he ran as a moderate. Somebody who was going to unite us, remember that? So he lied to everybody, conned everybody into voting for him, and then he's been the most divisive president we have ever had on levels we've never seen before, doing absolutely outrageously socialist things, worse than any president has ever done on the left, and Kamala Harris is even worse than him. She's out of California, and make no mistake, California is as bad as they look, if not worse. This would be the end of our country and elections. If we lose the Senate and the House, and Kamala Harris becomes president, our elections are over. Forever. That's not loose rhetoric to fearmonger and booga booga people like they do. It's the absolute damn truth, because they have shown it through example. So we're over 4 miles now. So we'll definitely get at least 5 today. We'll be closer to 6. Squeezy's okay. One of those big giant light poles they're going to be putting up. Looks like stadium lighting. I wanted to see what kind of lighting that was, and that's what that is. It looks like stadium lighting on this track over here, which I'm guessing they're going to be renovating. Just hit 4.5 miles. That's a tall light pole, folks. Look at that. Ooh, I'm getting hungry. Beautiful flag. Best flag in the whole world. The other thing you're going to see Democrats do, I don't think they're ever going to be able to change the red, white, and blue, but they will definitely want an updated modern flag, national flag. Some states under Democrat rule have already managed to change their state flags. This is part of their reconditioning of the public into making everything different. So then they push their BS. It'll just mix in with everything else that's abnormal and different. Part of the strategy for the Great Reset. Did that in Europe too. So no doubt somebody is going to want to change the national 50 stars and stripes. Good luck doing that. I think they'll get so much resistance to that it'll never happen. But the main flag is going to be on the ballot. See that light right there? There's absolutely nothing on it that says that's green. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Got a new battery in. 4 3/4 miles. Battery ran out. Sometimes I'll make 5 miles. Realistically, I started recording a little bit earlier. Well, that dog didn't feel like barking at me today. So we'll head back to the ranch, have something to eat, take a shower, go buy a few grocery items, and then settle in. Alright, we'll cut down this way. Somebody's cooking popcorn. I smell popcorn. Actually, it smells like somebody burned some popcorn. That's starting to look fallish. You got old apples all over the lawn, fell out of the trees. 5 miles. We just hit 5 miles. I noticed a lot more American flags out than I've seen in the past. There's a lot of properties where they have flags like that right here. Got one over here hanging. Typically, liberals don't fly flags. And if they are now, it's because they honestly believe Trump's a threat to democracy. Maybe now they're getting patriotic because the media has spooked them. Or they're not liberals. I haven't seen my doggy out here for a while. Hope he's okay. I'm not seeing that dog out there for over a month. We get some more Halloween decor coming out. Look at it all. More American flags. throaty sounding truck. Throaty. Yep, it's going to be dark sooner than later. Headlights are coming on. And that's why I had to use the restroom on my walk instead of waiting an extra half hour before leaving the house. Won't be dark for another hour, 2 hours actually, but the shadows are long. I'm going to take a left up here, up ahead at my, usually the one I use to add an extra half mile. Means walking an extra half mile, but I don't feel like dealing with all this rush hour traffic, the noise of it, or crossing up ahead. Hang a left right here. Head on down the road. Oh, that breeze feels nice. You can see some yellow leaves sticking out of that tree there. They're thinking about it. It's 5.5 miles. Smells spray paint. Somebody sitting in their car huffing or what? It's one of the wildest videos I've ever seen. This teenager, looked like he was about 18, probably about 18 years old, sitting in his car talking with this guy, and this guy's asking him, he's like, you know, you're huffing paint? He goes, yeah man. He goes, the high is just absolutely unbelievable. And he takes the spray paint, takes a big haul off it, inhales it, and then he slumps over dead. He had already been doing some, and then he just did too much. And for the life of me, I can't imagine anybody ingesting paint by inhaling it. Just even thinking about it, it's like, really? And you know, this kid died right there on camera. One of the craziest things I've ever seen. 17, 18 years old. Thought he was being cool, getting high. What a waste. Probably another example of internet information killing somebody. I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. Even says it on the can. If you read a can of spray paint, inhalation of fumes can cause severe neurological issues or even death in a confined area without any fresh air. Anyways, I figured out what that clicking noise is when I walk in my videos lately. It's actually my keys in my pocket, my knee pocket. I just shifted them in a different spot. Now it's not doing that. So sorry for being annoying. Ladies and gentlemen. Hope you liked my woods walk video from yesterday. That was pretty awesome. 3 deer, a mama and 2 baby deer on that walk. Got a nice video of that too. So hope you enjoyed that. I sure did. Well, it looks like somebody had lawn tractor trouble. Somebody's lawn tractor petered out. Let's see where we're at. Miles. 5.8. 5.8 miles, almost 6 miles today. Excuse me. Anyway, we'll be signing off at 6 miles very shortly. I want to say thank you very much for walking with me today. Click like, share, subscribe. Hope you have a beautiful week now that Labor Day is in the books. So thank you for walking with me. Have a beautiful week. Thank you very much for being friends with me. And until the next walk, God bless everybody. God bless you and your family.